how does this play out in real-life situations? Like, say, fasting versus intense exercise?
Great question. That's where you see the system dynamics. So during fasting, like overnight, your blood glucose starts to fall. This triggers the release of a hormone called glucagon from your pancreas. Glucagon's main target is the liver. It tells the liver, hey, break down glycogen. And importantly, it also activates that key enzyme, glucose 6 phosphatase.
So glucagon specifically tells the liver to release glucose into the blood.
Precisely. The liver then pumps out free glucose, keeping your blood sugar levels stable, especially for the brain, until you eat or other processes like gluconeogenesis kick in more heavily.
Okay, liver handles the fasting response. What about exercise? When muscles are screaming for energy?
During intense exercise, the signals are different. You get adrenaline, sure, which can stimulate glycogen breakdown in muscle, but also just the sheer demand for ATP within the muscle cell triggers local glycogenolysis. That glucose 6 phosphate, remember, stays inside the muscle. It doesn't need glucagon. It doesn't care about blood sugar levels. It just gets funneled straight into glycolysis to make ATP right then and there.
Super fast, on-demand energy, exactly where it's needed, without bothering the rest of the system.
That's the beauty of it. It allows the liver to focus on maintaining systemic glucose while muscles power themselves independently. True metabolic teamwork.
This is so elegantly designed, it makes you wonder, does it ever go wrong? Like, are there conditions where that liver enzyme, the phosphatase, is missing or doesn't work?
Yes, absolutely. There's a group of genetic disorders called glycogen storage diseases. And type I, known as von Gierke disease, is exactly that, a deficiency in glucose 6 phosphatase.
Wow. So what happens to people with that?
Well, they can store glycogen in the liver just fine, but they can't release the glucose effectively.
Mm.
So they suffer from severe hypoglycemia, really low blood sugar, especially when fasting. They also tend to get a buildup of glycogen in the liver and kidneys because it can't be broken down properly for release. It really highlights how critical that single enzyme is for health.
That's a stark reminder. A tiny molecular detail with massive life-altering consequences. It really puts the precision of our normal metabolism into perspective.
It really does. Just thinking about how this setup allows us to handle such different states, sitting quietly, fasting for hours, or sprinting flat out, it's all orchestrated by these kinds of specific molecular tools, like having the right enzyme in the right place.
And that, I think, brings us towards the end of this particular deep dive. We started off asking why the liver and muscle handle their energy stores so differently, and the answer really seems to hinge almost entirely on one specific enzyme, glucose 6 phosphatase. The liver has it, so it can snip off that phosphate, release free glucose, and manage blood sugar for the whole body. A real team player. Muscles don't have it, so their glucose 6 phosphate stays trapped, gets used immediately for glycolysis, powering just that muscle.